Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. First off, want to apologize. I've been feeling kind of under the weather lately, and I've had a lot of family stuff going on with holidays, so I haven't been pushing out the videos near as many as I'd like. Special shout out to Dev Gives for calling me out on my grinding, or lack thereof. But I assure you, lots of decks coming. We're going to try to make up for it and just pump out a bunch of them over the next couple weeks. So get ready for that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Today's deck is called Teferi Loves to Lose. Now, this is built on top of a foundation of a deck that I made after the Brothers War came out. Dominaria. It was after Dominaria came out, called Hate to Lose. And so we're trying to use draw, discard sort of synergies. So we have the obvious double draw synergies with Teferi and cards like it, but then we're also trying to merge that with discard synergies so that we can use cards that connive or loot to get double the value that we normally would. So I'm going to take a second and link to the original video here so that if you want, you can check out that one and get caught up. Before we get into the deck tech, I just want to take a minute and thank everybody who subscribed recently. We're at over 750. We're getting really close to the 1,000 subscribers that we're trying to hit. And remember, once we do, we're going to do a 24-hour marathon stream where everyone in stream can challenge me to games. And if you beat me, I crack a pack on stream and then I can mail you those cards. So that's going to be super exciting. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment below on what deck ideas or maybe card synergies you want me to explore in future videos. And let's get to the deck. Alright, so first off, we're trying to take advantage of as many of the draw payoffs that came in the new Brothers War set as we possibly can. So we're starting here with 3 copies of Teferi Temporal Pilgrim. Now, most of you know this card, absolutely a house, been running rampant all over Arena lately. This is a 5-mana blue planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 4. Has a static ability that whenever you draw a card, you get to put a loyalty counter on Teferi, and then its loyalty abilities are pretty amazing as well. So pay 0 loyalty to draw a card, which in reality is more like +1, because when you draw that card, you'll be putting a loyalty counter on Teferi because of his static ability. Then you've also got -2 to make a 2/2 spirit creature with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Absolute insane. That one creature alone is almost worth the Teferi by itself, because they have to waste removal on the Teferi and then still waste another piece of removal on the token. Either permanent just can completely grow out of control and take over a game. You've also got the -12 ultimate ability where your opponent has to choose one of their non-land permanents to return to their hand, and then all other non-land permanents they control get shuffled into their deck. Now, what makes this so powerful is that it's one-sided. It doesn't really matter that they get something back into their hand. Like, everything on their side is gone. Everything on your side stays. And normally, -12 loyalty is so expensive, but the fact that you're getting an extra loyalty every turn just from his static ability when you draw your card for turn, and then you're getting a bunch more loyalty whenever you draw, really makes it a lot easier to get to that ultimate ability than you'd think. And this deck is sort of focused around using the things that can most efficiently pump up Teferi and his token creatures the quickest. And a lot of that is conniving or looting, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Next up, we've got Gixian Puppeteer. This is another great new card in Brothers War. 4 mana, 1 black and 3 for a 4/3 Phyrexian Warlock. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. And on top of that, when this thing dies, you get to take a 3-drop or less creature from your graveyard and put it back into play. So a lot of the things that we're using to enable our draw triggers are things that we can get back with the Puppeteer, which provides a ton of value because those are going to be things that have big targets on their head, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But also being able to drain for an extra 2 life every turn cycle when you draw your second card, which you'll always be doing with this deck, is absolutely insane. So how are we triggering these synergies? The main way is going to be Raffine. Now, this is something that we pointed out in spoiler season that is obviously pretty gross. Now, conniving, looting, these are abilities that allow you to draw for a lot less mana, a lot more efficiently than just plain drawing a card, because you have the downside of discarding. Therefore, we can get a lot more draw triggers off of utilizing cards like this, and we've also packed the deck with ways of utilizing the other end of it, which I'll get to in just a minute. So, Raffine here is a 1/4 for 3 mana flying ward 1. When it attacks, whenever you attack with anything, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So you're going to get to draw a bunch of cards, put a bunch of counters on Teferi, and then discard a bunch of cards while buffing up one of your creatures. And if you have a token from Teferi, you're going to buff up that token as well, which that token could be one of the attackers and could get double buffed by the Connive off of Raffine. It can just get really out of hand. Puppeteer is going to trigger, drain you some life. If the Raffine gets killed, your Puppeteer, when it dies, can just bring the Raffine back, which is incredibly efficient and incredibly good because Raffine has a huge target on its head. It's going to take them a little bit longer to kill it because of the ward, but when they do, you'll be able to, you know, sack your Puppeteer or lose it in combat, get your Raffine back, and keep things moving. We've also got 4 copies of Toluz. When Toluz enters the battlefield, you get to Connive and trigger all of your draw synergies. But also, whenever it's on the field, everything that gets discarded will go into exile under Toluz, and when Toluz dies, you'll get all those cards back. So not only are we getting all of our double draw triggers and our extra draw triggers with Teferi, but all of those things that we are looting away or conniving away are sitting under Toluz so that we can easily get them all back for insane card advantage later in the game. We've also got 2 Kaito Shizukis for the same reason. It can uptick to draw us a card, and if we didn't attack, we discard a card, which again synergizes with our Toluz, synergizes with all of our draw payoffs. But we can also just -2 to create an unblockable ninja, and we can use that to get more triggers off of Raffine, get more draws off of Teferi, and it can snowball out of control. We've got just 1 copy of Liliana. It is good in this deck because with Toluz, we're also synergizing with discard abilities. So all of the things that we're discarding are going to get us extra value, which means the uptick on Liliana, where we have to discard a card and they do, we can really go to town on getting rid of a control player's hand with this, while not really costing us too much on our end because the cards that we discard will go under Toluz. A lot of value and efficiency there. We've also got 1 Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. I'd like to be running more of these, but as a legendary creature, it makes sense to just run the 1 for now. All of the creatures that connect and deal damage are also going to draw us cards with Gix, and that's going to trigger all of our draw synergies, which is just insane. Also, Gix is another creature along with the Raffine and the Toluz that we can get back with Gixian Puppeteer if the Puppeteer dies. So, again, tons of synergies baked into this. In our 2-drop slot, we've got 4 Evangel of Synthesis. This is another new card from Brothers War. This is 2 mana, 1 blue and 1 black for a 2/3 Phyrexian Human Cleric. When it enters, you draw a card, discard a card. So again, we'll trigger all of our draw abilities, we'll trigger all of our discard abilities, and as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, it gets +1/+0 and has Menace. So it can be a really efficient attacker, while also helping to trigger our draw discard stuff on the turn it comes into play. Very, very good card. We've also got 3 copies of the Raven Man, and because we're utilizing a lot of looting and a lot of conniving, the Raven Man will help us go wide and create another bird every time we hit a turn where we've discarded something or the opponent has discarded something. And this is incredibly important in a deck like this because we've got Raffine sitting over here that wants to go wide as possible to get as many connive triggers as possible. So being able to include a card like this, which is going to help us go wide with these flying creatures that are going to be really hard to block, that can trigger Raffine a bunch of times, while also synergizing with all of the other synergies we already have in the deck, it's kind of a no-brainer. What's especially cool with the Raven Man is all of these birds that we create are really good sacrifice fodder for our choice of card spot removal in the deck, which is Rite of Oblivion. Rite of Oblivion, we have to sacrifice another non-land permanent when we play it, but we get to exile any non-land permanent, and it has flashback. So in a deck like this, where we're trying to maximize our synergies and we don't have as many spots open for removal, being able to get basically 2 pieces of removal in 1 card here because of the flashback is really, really important to make up those other lack of spots in the deck for removal. But the fact that we have the birds that we can sacrifice to the Rite of Oblivion helps us get even more value by letting us sacrifice things we don't mind sacrificing. We also have other pretty decent sacrifice targets in the deck. We can sacrifice the Puppeteer if we really want to get back a 3-drop like a Raffine. We can sacrifice a Toluz if we just want to get the cards back that it is exiled, that were discarded, especially if there's another Toluz sitting underneath the first Toluz in exile, and we're just going to get that back and replay and just keep the synergies going. We can sacrifice the ninja token that we make from Kaito. So there's a lot of cool little ways that we can actually utilize the synergy of Rite of Oblivion to really go to town, get rid of the things we really need to, get more out of our 4 of removal than we would normally get out of any other 4 of in that spot. And I think it just works really well with the deck. We've also got just 1 Tenacious Underdog, because as soon as we have 1, we don't really need another one. It's really the mid to late game with this sitting in your graveyard, being able to constantly blitz it into game and draw a card off of it when it dies that turn. That way we can trigger our draw payoffs. That's really important. But we don't really need to get it down on curve. We don't really need to see multiple copies. And because there's so many good 2-drops that we want to play that synergizes with the deck, I think just one of these is pretty good so that we have the chance of being able to do that in the late game. We have the same sort of train of thought with Evolved Sleeper here. We're 3 colors, so most of the time we're playing a tapped land on 1. It's going to be very, very rare that we get to play something like this on turn 1. So really where it shines is just in the mid to late game, where we can pump a bunch of mana into it, have it be a mana sink, and eke out value by drawing a bunch of cards off of it and trigger all of our draw triggers. So I think 1 copy's worth including for that reason. But again, because it can't come down on curve very reliably, I don't think we need to worry about having a bunch of them. The last cards we need to talk about to round out the deck, we have 1 Sheoldred, because obviously if we're in a deck that wants to benefit off of drawing cards, Sheoldred's a no-brainer. We've also got 1 Seraparagon, because we can use it to get back all of our important 2 and 3 drop permanents, not just creatures. So whereas the Puppeteer can get back all of our creatures, the Seraparagon can go one step further. Not only can it bring back our Raffines and our Toluzes and all that stuff, but we can also get back our Kaitos or our Lilianas, while still getting back all of our 3-drop creatures and our 2-drop creatures. It's just incredibly important in an environment where there's so much efficient removal that you have to constantly contend with your stuff being removed. Having that almost like a 5th copy of Puppeteer in a way, where you can bring all the things back that are dying, is incredibly important. I think it's a great one of. And again, kind of like the Underdog and the Sleeper, we don't necessarily need this on curve. It can provide a lot of value in the late game, so we're okay with just having the 1. We don't really need to see a second one if the first one is sticking and doing its job. The last card I want to talk about is Edgar's Awakening. Now, this is one that we brought over from the original version, Hate to Lose, which I did link in the introduction, so check that out if you haven't. But this card is really cool because we want things we can get extra value off of when we discard, because we're going to be discarding a lot. Edgar's Awakening here usually will be used for its discard ability, which when it's discarded, you can pay 1 black to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. So that's cool because we're going to be doing a lot of conniving, a lot of looting. We can just pay the 1 black mana, get back something that got killed earlier in the game, like our Raffine, like our Toluz, something that's super important that we need to get back into play. And a lot of times if we already have a Toluz out while we do this, that's even more value. We're getting something back from the yard. This is being discarded so that we could have drawn something, and then on top of it, this is going under Toluz so that when Toluz dies, we get this back and we can do it all over again. But it's also cool that we can just hard cast this for 5 and get back our Puppeteer or our Sheoldred or a Seraparagon if they die. So it's cool that we have that alternate ability and an alternate way of using it. I think the deck is pretty rad. I don't know if this is entirely the optimal build, but I did test it a lot, and for right now, this is I think where the deck sits best. Although I'll continue to test it, and I would not be surprised if a more efficient version rears its head in the future. And if I do find, another version of this deck that works so much better, I'll make sure to update it for you guys and post about it. But right now, I think this is an incredibly powerful version of this deck. it really makes the most use of all these connives by getting tons of value off the draws, getting tons of value off the discards, and just going over the top. So let's jump into the games. This looks fine. We'll keep it. We've got plenty of things that'll sift us into our third land drop, hopefully. Should be good. Should be glorious. Hello, TBO. We'll lead with a Marsh. Could have been Takenuma for a sleeper, but I think it's more important we make sure we hit our Evangel so that we can dig for our third land. There we go. We'll discard... It's really tempting to just discard Teferi. What are we playing next turn? Another 2-drop? Probably another Evangel. And then after that, Kaito. So I think we dump one of these. I think it's going to be the sleeper. We have things that can bring back the sleeper later. And it doesn't look like we have much room for playing it. Alright, so we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So we can give Evangel Menace. Well then. Drop Kaito. I think we want to play Toluz next turn. We want to make sure we can slam this. Maybe it should have been Raven Man, though. Right, Toluz. We'll discard a Raven Man. Play a tower. Swing for 6 Menace. That seems pretty good. So, wouldn't have changed much. We would have discarded the Raven Man first. It would have been in the yard. And then Kaito would be under Toluz. That's really the only difference. But hey, we got a boy. We've got a real boy. Play Teferi. Do you have a counterspell? Do we draw a card so we can swing for 6 with the Evangels? I don't think so. I think it's just safe to do it this way.
Nobody knows the past better than me.
And just swing with those. Keep the other guys as blockers. It's a good thing I did it that way.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
It's gonna make a 2/2, I assume. Trade the 2/2 for a 2/3. Oh, he doesn't even know what he's gonna do. Just gut instinct. Emperor's best play. I would appreciate you showing me that screenshot, Finn. That'd be nice. Alright. That puts us in a pretty good position. We'll trade the Toluz if we have to. The token's just too strong. Too strong. You can just pop it in the Discord, Finn, if you can find a good spot for it over there. Unless it's got information on it that you consider sensitive, you can, you know, PM me if that's the case. Hello, Wandering Emperor. Gonna exile the boy, lose your Emperor. That's fine.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Cameo, bring back the boy.
As sure as the moon rises,
The girl, I
so
should say.
too shall Phyrex. History belongs to Phyrexia.
Honestly,
I've
not really
learned
worried.
much during my travels.
Not
Let
really
your blade
worried. This is just gonna get so out of hand, guys. So out of hand.
It's meant to be shared.
The system can't.
We will uptick,
We can.
toss
There's
out.
no secret I can't uncover.
Guess we'll toss you. I don't even think we need to attack. No attacks. We'll make a bird. Those tokens are going to get so big, so quick. Basically get to make one every single turn.
You cannot delay our victory.
We get to do some really good blocks if he tries to kill Teferi, which is nice. He will kill Teferi if he wants to, but we'll have some really good blocks.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
The boys, the boys, the boys. You have to swing with all of them. You have to swing with all of them. He didn't. He didn't. You madman. You are an absolute madman. Absolute madman. You are insane. That's it. That's what I've come to realize.
Who's that handsome devil?
He's pretty handsome. He's pretty handsome. We're gonna do it like this.
Now this is a
Oh man.
juicy secret.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. Just you. Because I want to also Rite of Oblivion, because I am greedy. I am Superman. I don't want to do this. I guess we get rid of you. We pop you. Then we offer a trade. Kill this boy. Would you like to 2 for 1? I mean, I'm okay with that. I am completely okay with that. Look at this board. Look at how strong this man is. Strong man. So strong.
My judgment is final.
Are we gonna make him discard a card with the Raven Man? We might. We might. That -2 is so powerful. Because it's basically -1.
You do not write this story.
Because of your draw for the turn. Storm the festival. Gets a wedding announcement. Alright, so we're going to start by making another boy. Then, we're going to draw. Discard you. Put some counters on some things. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's more important? Rite of Oblivion or Gixian Puppeteer? Because we could do either. I think the Puppeteer. Because we can just kill you with you. And we can kill. We'll kill you. Seems pretty good. Do you have a farewell? Farewell would be good. Not quite good enough, but it would be good. Loam Speaker. Speaking of Loams, could get back a Toluz or a Sleeper if he kills our Puppeteer. What's going on, Paradabo? Good to see you. Neville's very happy when you show up. Gonna lock down our 6/6 again. Gonna play another Loam Speaker. I mean, at this point, all of this is just feels kind of like dirtling. Just feels kind of like dirtling. Uptick. Goodbye, Plaza. Drain some life, get a whole bunch of things, doing stuff. Let's see. So much we can do. We're gonna start with that. Then we're gonna go like this. Then we're gonna do a little bit of smashy smash. A little bit of smashy smash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He could kill our 5/5. I kinda don't mind him killing the Evangel. Let's do that to start. That sounds rad, Paradabo. Stoked for you. They both sat and looked and said, you know, we have 40 years MTG experience between the two of us. Hell yeah. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. I mean, he probably has to bounce the 8/8 and then tap down the 5/5. Oh, he's gonna do that. Okay, he's got planeswalkers. I don't know if that's enough.
Life is speeding things up.
Like, we're doing some ridiculous shit next turn. We get to Ultimate Kaito. That should tell you everything you need to know about our next turn. He's barely got any blockers. He's gonna make some with the announcement.
I'll be your shield.
It's about to get wild. Yeah, he scooped. We didn't even get to do the thing. We can keep this. We love a third land, but at the very least, if we don't see a land next turn, I think we Evangel into it. We could hedge our bets and just play Raven Man, so that if we do top deck a land, we slam Raffine and we get more value. But I think it's safer to just play the Evangel out, get one card closer to our next land. Alright, we'll discard another Evangel. Unfortunately, we do not have our white for the Raven Man, or for Raffine, rather. Hey, there it is. So we will slam Raffine, and we'll hit for 4 damage Menace. That seems pretty good. What do we dump? I guess we gotta dump the right. Alright. We are out aggroing a Soldiers deck. Feels pretty good. This is keepable. It's not great, but we're on the draw. Worst case scenario, if we can't play anything on 2, we can play Toluz on 3 and be only 1 mana away from Sheoldred. So we keep it. We don't necessarily like it, but we keep it. Play the Marsh. At least we got options now. If he only plays the 1 creature, yeah, that's pretty good for us, honestly. We play Lily, we -2, Urza goes bye-bye.
Sacrifices must be made.
This looks pretty good as well. We're going to lose. Does he have a counterspell? Does have a counterspell. Well, we'll uptick anyway. Let's see. I think we put the right away. You can always replay it from the yard, and it looks like he's playing control, so Whitestone, Weakstone cannot kill the Lily. Decides to draw 2 cards. It's kind of fine. We'll do this. We'll connive. We'll dump. Guess we dump. We can dump one of the Red Edgar's Awakenings, right? That's fine. uptick, make him discard.
I'm tired of your secrets.
We'll dump the other one. Yeah, we'll dump the other one. We need to make sure we can write if we absolutely need to. If he drops another Urza, we don't want him untapping with the Urza and the Mightstone and the Weak Stones, so we need to be prepared. Okay.
You won't be outsmarting me.
I guess we don't be greedy. We get rid of Teferi, since we're kind of off on land. We will swing. Emperor. Makes sense. Does leave you with not very much at all, though. I think I'm actually going to play the Raven Man here, because we discarded. And now he's in an awkward position where you can probably just start swinging in with the birds. Or at least we can Rite of Oblivion and sack a bird. If he makes a dude, we can down tick Lily.
Remember your training.
Oh boy. What does he possibly have? Okay.
I'm never done for good.
Counterspell? He's gonna lose that last card in his hand if he does. Okay. Well. Goodbye, right. We've got 4 mana now, so we can just replay the rights if we have to. No big deal. Plenty of birdies. Okay, he's got Urza. Doesn't quite have the mana he needs. Sorry, buddy. We keep this. This looks great. We'll lead with the tower. We'll go Eiganjo into Raven Man. And then we can do Raffine into Swingy Swing. And hopefully have a land to Puppeteer. Yeah. Discard. Kaito. Would you like to trade? You would not like to trade. Well, that's even better for us. I think that solidifies the win. Like Puppeteer, Swing, Connive is going to be kind of wild. Teferi, go bye-bye. Right, go bye-bye. I think we want to keep the Raven Man around. If we do this, you can't kill it. So I think that is probably correct. Keep the Teferi for next turn. Make another bird. All right then. What do we want to keep? Otawara or Takenuma? think Takenuma. Alright, -2.
This is a puzzle. I'm going to solve it. Who's that handsome devil?
Swing all. Put everything on the puppeteer. Discard. Rite of Oblivion. Toluz. We need to be at least 6/5. So that it can kill multiple things. You. And you. And you. Alright. Every single trigger. All the triggers. Though that's triggers. We should just call this deck trigger happy. One land. Mulligan. 2 lands. 3 lands. And an Evangel. We'll keep this. We've got time to get to Teferi. I'd want to go Raven Man on 2. Evangel, discard Egger's Awakening on 3 if they kill our Raven Man. They probably don't kill the Raven Man. Let's take Teferi. Put the Awakening away. That's probably fine. Starting with 3 lands, we're way closer to our Teferi than we would be. So we'll play the Raven Man first to get our black mana online. Hopefully he doesn't kill it. He probably will. And then we'll be sad. So sad. Alright, more anvils. Anvily, anvily, anvily. Plays a Fable. Okay. That helps us a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. How dare. How dare Dimir Agent play Rakdos. I agree. We can get rid of a waste Seer, honestly. And then, do we offer up the trade with the Raven Man? Nah. Part of me wants him to not make a treasure. But I mean, we also have the Evangel as a 2/3. And that's a good blocker for the treasure guy. So I think that pushes me over the edge to keep it. Evangel. Or, Anvil. Sorry. I got Evangel on the brain. It's coming in. Just gonna Voltage Surge it. Right away. Sure. No blocks. Going pretty wide. Pretty wide. What do we write? Do we write an Anvil or the Fable? That's the question. I think we'll just do the Fable. This is an incredibly unfortunate game. We got really flooded. Turn 4 and all we can do is a 2-mana right. Another Anvil. At this point, the Raven Man's not going to get us any extra value. Last turn, I was on the fence. This turn, it's pretty obvious. Just 4 Anvils? Sure. That's fine. That's fine. Who needs anything else at all? Alright.
I'm finished running from battles.
We get our super soldier version of a Johnny's Pride Mate.
Who's that handsome devil?
And then we force him to have to lose one of his 1/1s. And swing it to Teferi and not me. To deal with the Teferi. I think it's probably just too many Anvils. Why didn't he sacrifice it? That was a misplay on his part. He should have sacrificed the one I blocked. And another land. Well, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that the game's very one-sided. Is what it is. I'm not even going to discard the underdog because we need to hard cast it and use it as a blocker. Alright, swing with our 5/5. Hit block and sack. That's fine. 4 Anvils, it's fine. This is fine. Bloodline culling. If only. Something like that could be a good sideboard card. What about the guy that gives -1/-1 when he enters the battlefield? If he has Blitz, he'd be super good for this deck as a sideboard card. Because not only does it wipe the floor with the tokens decks, but if we blitz it in, it draws us a card at end of turn. And triggers all of our draw synergies. Nightclubber does have Blitz. Okay, that's a sideboard card for this deck for sure. Alright, he's coming in. He wants me dead. He wants me dead. We're gonna start trying to kill these Anvils off. I don't know if we're gonna get there in time, but he gets to make 4 every turn, so it's kinda hard to win against 4 Anvils. Transmogrant. Do have a Puppeteer, though. Do we have a way to draw? If we had a way to draw, that would be sick. But we don't. I mean, we could blitz out the underdog, but then we can't play the Puppeteer, and we lose 2 life. I think it's just over, guys. I think it's just over. Yeah, 4 Anvils is just too much. In fact, let's not waste any more time. Let's just move on to the next game. We can keep this. Start with the tower. We'll go Eiganjo into Ravenman. Nice. Even if he kills our Ravenman, we've got our backup. If he doesn't, we can Toluz. I mean, we're probably going to Toluz anyway. Mountain, swamp, and nothing. Toluz anyway, because if he kills the Toluz, then the door is very open for Puppeteer to get back Toluz. What do we want to donk? I guess the Underdog. Plays a Fable. We will play a Puppeteer. Do you have a Lightning Strike? Or another Infernal Grasp? Or I guess a Voltage Surge would work, right? You could swing with the 2/2 and then sack the treasure. But we do get our Toluz back, which seems pretty good. Put the Ravenman underneath. No blocks. No blocks. Look at all this fun. So much fun. Alright, swing with Toluz, trigger the Connive, discard one of our many Edgar's Awakenings. It stinks that we can't use it, but still, it'll go under Toluz. We'll get it back later. Just kind of racing at this point. We could also just, if we get another black source, we could hard cast the Edgar's Awakening and just put the Puppeteer into play. If we wanted to. Plays the Anvil. Sacks the treasure. Makes a dude. I assume. Another Anvil. Okay, it's one of those nights, guys. Just all the Anvils. Every single Anvil. Every Anvil ever. Do we double Edgar's Awakening? Or do we Underdog to get 3 Connives? We wouldn't have any black left to use Awakening. We could also just put it right onto the onto the field, the Puppeteer, in order to drain. I think it's better to do it this way. I think the 1 drain isn't going to be as important. Discard you. Ooh, that's tempting. We're going to do it like this. Get back another Puppeteer. Assuming he's going to just chump block, that's fine. We've got so much value there just waiting to come down. We're just going to start layering our Puppeteers. So we can play one this turn. Next turn we can play the second one and have 1 black left over for the Edgar's Awakening. And that should be pretty strong. Even if he kills the Puppeteer this turn, because we can get back, what, Ravenman probably? I mean, he can kill whatever he wants for the most part right now, but whatever he kills, we get a ton of value. Alright. We're crowd surfing. He's gonna make us wait. At least we're gonna have fun. A third Anvil. It's one of those nights. It's one of those nights, guys. 3 freaking Anvils. 3. Go ahead, kill the puppeteer. Unbelievable. No blocks. Do we write the reflection? Or do we write the harvester? Or do we write the anvil? I think it doesn't really matter right now. Okay, so the only way to kill Toluz or the Raven Man is to block. Is to block with the Blood Tithe Harvester. Otherwise, you're just chumping. All is well that ends well. I don't know if we can power through these 3 anvils, but we're gonna try really hard. We are gonna try really hard. We will discard a Raven Man. If we can make it through this turn in okay shape, we might be okay. We need to start gaining life, though, so we need Sheoldred. Or just, we need to get back Puppeteer. He scooped? After all that, you scooped. Yeah, we'll keep this. We'll go tower. Alright, Underground River. Slam that Evangel. What are we discarding? Probably Gix. Puppeteer can bring him back. And I don't see any turn in which we would rather play him than something else. Raffine. Connive. Hit for 4. We'll drop one of the Evangels. So next turn, we may be able to just Rite of Oblivion the 3rd Path Iconoclast. If we have to. Okay, he's just soul partitioning. Ooh. That's some bad luck, my friend. That is some bad luck, my friend. Put the dudes in the yard that the puppeteers can get back. Makes the most sense to me. We want to hold on to this right just in case. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He does have some removal. I think we put it on Raffine. Discard 2 cards. Oh, I guess it's going to be you. And he's going to scoop. It's too much. We'll keep it. It's another one of those 3 tap lands on the play sort of hands. Play another tower. Alright, we'll start with Toluz. Train coming through. No, I'm just gonna syncopate it. That's a bummer. Welp. I guess this is our play. Time for Toluz. Maybe we should have played the land first because make disappear. I'm trying to hide as much information from him as possible, so my default is like keep it in hand. Let's see what we draw. Alright, let's swing Raffine. Put some more stuff under Toluz. Let's see, what do we want to dump? I guess it doesn't matter, we're going to get it back, right? So probably should have been a non-land, actually. Alright, we're just going to try this. Get rid of his counterspell now, so we can actually slam our Teferi next turn. And hopefully, the right will still be in our yard. So if he does get the Mightstone and Weakstone down, we can just pivot and deal with it. A Soul Partition. I don't hate that. That puts him way behind on tempo. And gets rid of the Soul Partition. Man, he really wants to counter something, doesn't he? Well, we're gonna try. Oh my god.
You need a hero. Well, here I am.
Swing, Connive. Discard the Awakening. Make everything grow. Pay the black. Here we go. Bring back Toluz. Seems pretty good. What are you doing at end of turn? Memory Deluge. Okay. Rough. I don't know if that was the right play. He's got to have board sweep, right? Board wipe in there. That's the thing I'm really worried about. Farewell can't hit Teferi, which is nice. The Absence can.
The truth still eludes me.
Hey, we got another one. So I guess we'll just do that. Make another boy.
Multiverse is at stake. I won't back down. Who's that handsome devil?
Right, we'll do some swingy swings. We'll grow, I think, Raffine here. Split our damage. I think we want to drop the Raven Man post-combat, so we're going to keep that. We'll put Gix in there, because we can get it back with the Puppeteer. We'll put Lily in there, because she seems greedy. Everything grows. Can't believe people on my channel were saying Teferi is mid. There were actually people commenting saying he was as bad as a Planeswalker deck Planeswalker. And that's just hilarious to me. He's got to have board wipe, right? But I mean, even if he does, it leaves behind the Teferi, more than likely. And we have stuff in our hand that is very valuable. Yeah, and we get to draw a card. Sick. Seems fine to me. Let's make another one of these boys.
Nobody knows the past better than me.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Puppeteer. Toluz. We will dump, I guess, a cave. It doesn't grow Toluz, but we want to play both of these next turn. Just go to town. Do you have another board wipe? You do. Oh, well, we'll keep doing the thing. We'll get back Gix. So why not? Urza. And he scoops. We were going to activate Gix's ability. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. We are pushing hard for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please consider subscribing. Hit that button. There's a circle in the middle over there. Hit that. Subscribe. Tell all your friends to do it. Thank you. Also, give this video a like so more people can see it. If you'd like more PlayStation and console game coverage, we've got that down below. And if you'd like more Magic the Gathering coverage, there's more of that somewhere off over that way. Do all the things.